Hi, I'm Andy Joels. Welcome to VideoCreditScore.com. Today we are going to address credit scores and whether or not they're becoming less predictive, and specifically, are they becoming less predictive because of the credit crunch? So there was a recent article that was on economy.com that talked about 4 reasons that credit scores were becoming less predictive. And I'm going to go through each of those hypotheses and then give my response. So the first hypothesis was that consumers are learning to game the score, and they're actually engaged in quite a bit of piggybacking activity. So the first thing I'll talk about is piggybacking activity and what that is, and that is referring to authorized user accounts and people using authorized user accounts in nefarious ways, where they're essentially paying somebody to let somebody else ride on their credit score. So I've got a whole episode about this, so you can search for that and check that out. But my response to this is that I don't think consumers are really trying to game the score, and I haven't seen any evidence of that. I also don't believe that the piggybacking thing is A, quite common, and B, it's something that in the FICO 08 model, Fair Isaac has said that they've addressed being able to spot sort of this nefarious activity. So let's move on to the second hypothesis, that people are using their credit cards more, and that's creating a thicker credit file, and that is helping build better credit scores. Well, if people are using their credit scores more, they're probably increasing their balances, and that is going to lower their credit utilization. It's going to lower their credit score. So this hypothesis, I really don't understand at all. At some point, if somebody has a really thin file and they're using their credit cards more, it might help them build up their file. But for most folks using credit cards more and running up their balances, if that's what's meant by using their cards more, then that's actually something that's going to hurt their score. So let's look at the third one. Credit scores haven't taken into account what's happening with mortgages, and that the average mortgage delinquency rate has really changed. Well, this assumes that the FICO model is really looking at an average delinquency rate, and it's really not looking at averages. It doesn't really care. It's a measurement of risk. So if people are on average more risky now than they were 2 years ago, then the model is going to show that. It's really, again, just a measurement of risk. It doesn't really care about the averages so much. So this hypothesis doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. And then let's go to the last one, which is consumer card balances are rising, and that in the past this was something that was good for credit scores. And my response to this is, again, I really don't know when this was, because credit card balances rising usually means that credit scores are going to fall, because if the balances are rising and the limits are not rising, then that's going to hurt the credit utilization ratio, and that's going to hurt your credit score. So that's my feeling about the hypotheses in this. Now, it may be true that the mean credit score is going up, as the article pointed out, but that, I think, is why Fair Isaac tends to look at the median. The challenge with a mean measurement as an average is that it can actually move quite a bit just from segments of the population changing. And so that can be really damaging, that if a bunch of people who actually have pretty good scores suddenly have great scores, that pulls up the average. And in the median case, that wouldn't change the median number at all. And I think that's important on why the median is really used as an average score in the case of Fair Isaac and their reporting. So it's a little bit on this topic, and if you want to learn more about other credit scoring topics, you know where to find me, VideoCreditScore.com. You can also friend me up on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. See you soon.
Remember, everyone's situation is different. Be sure to contact a financial advisor or a credit counseling professional before making important financial decisions. This video broadcast is for educational purposes and not a substitute for receiving personalized professional advice.